Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome. Oh, I think this is working. Let's see if we can get this going. I think this is working. Fabulous. Welcome, Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist here, talking today about fear and using fear to drive you. So I'd love to know if you are on the call live or if you're watching as a replay or wherever you are in the world would be super exciting. So thank you for joining me. And I've actually got a little bit of fear today going on. I've got a friend's little puppy dog beside me, and we've got other people in the house, and my little dog Hannah is possibly going to bark today. So if that happens, we'll just see how that is. So I've locked her in this office with me, and we'll see how that goes. So that's my fear that I'm dealing with right now, if you'll understand how it comes about. So let me talk about fear. So today we're going to talk about how to use fear to drive you. And when I started looking at fear, it just seems to be a massive one that keeps coming up more and more around people. And I know we all deal with fear differently, and I'd love to know your tactics and your tools that you use personally for fear. But when I looked up the dictionary what fear is, it said an unpleasant, let me just read this here, an unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, pain, or harm. So it's actually just right gone in there and said it's a whole negative thing, that fear. And being afraid of something or someone, it's going to be dangerous, painful, or harmful to you. So when you instantly think of fear, you go into that retract shell. Oh my gosh, this is actually going to be really yucky. You have physical emotions, you have mindset emotions that explode, and it can take you on a spiral of a tornado before you even know what's going on around you. My mentor, Dr. John Demartini, is a great example of fear, and his wording for fear is, hang on, let me pull this actually up. That would have been having. Is fear is an assumption that you're about to experience through your senses or imagination, through your senses of what you can see, hear, feel, or your imagination, more loss than gain, more negative than positive, more pain than pleasure, more disadvantage than advantages, and more risk than reward in the future. So when we think about Dr. John Demartini's philosophy on fear, it means you're going to have a negative experience over anything else, which is what the dictionary actually sums up, fear. But there is actually a way around it, which I'm going to share with you today. So my version of fear, because we've heard the dictionary, we've heard Dr. John Demartini version of fear, is stuff's going to go down and you won't like it. And that's depending on the level, no matter what level it is, you know, the little fear of, oh, this could happen or this could happen, no matter whatever that level is, the worst thing can happen will actually happen. Because we know that you can think of things and it can happen at such a rapid speed without you even knowing that that's what your mind is. So if you know you have a fear and you know how to work through that fear of what it is, then fantastic. If you'd like to share and let us know, that would be great. But I'm going to show you how to use fear to drive you. So first I want to talk a little bit about what fear does to you. It pretty much immobilizes you. And when I say immobilizes you, it can be crippling, and it doesn't matter what level it is. But when I say immobilizes you, actually freezes you that you cannot do anything. You cannot think differently. I'm talking about the extreme here. You cannot think differently. You cannot action things differently. You're stuck, you know, like say a spider or a cockroach, because we've just had the house sprayed for spiders, cockroaches. So you see a spider and you go, oh. Some people see a spider and go, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know, what am I going to do about the spider? What am I going to do? And you don't even think about how big you are compared to that spider. That spider's a little thing. Do you not think that that spider has a little bit of fear in seeing you? And that's for my daughter, Sophie, who I'm sure you'll be listening to me talk about fear around spiders. But you have that fear. and it freezes you, and you're like, what do? I need to kill it, or I need to get it outside, or I need to whatever. Most people, there's of course the other ones who go, let's just save this spider and let's get this and let's do this, that's great. But most people just go, oh, it's a spider, oh, I need to get it out of here, I need to kill it or do whatever it is. So that fear can clench your butt cheeks, can make you freeze, tightness of everything, and you have a whole physical sickening reaction, a real sickening reaction. And that's what I'm talking about. It's crippling, and you can't do anything. Sometimes you see it move really fast and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do something about that right now before it moves. So you go into fight or flight mode. Yes. But if you can actually stop and assess the situation and go, how can I utilize this fear to allow me to move forward? That's where we're going to train your brain. So for a start, when I talk about the spiders, I know there's a few on here who'll go, I don't do spiders. And others go, oh, they're just beautiful wee creatures. Now, I don't judge those people for theirs. They all have a fear around whatever it is. You can have a fear of moths even. I know, random. Who would have thought? But I'm not going to judge you for your fear because I have my own fears. Every person has their own fears. Tony Robbins has their own fears. Dr. John Demartini has their own fears. Prime ministers, presidents, they all have their own fears. We all have a fear. You cannot judge them for their fears because they are their fears from their beliefs that they have either seen or heard that stuck in their mind of stories that they've seen or heard. So when you see or hear stories about other people, the key is to know that you don't have to take their stories, their scripts, their scenarios on. They are just yours to deal with. Your own ones. You don't have to go, oh my God, they've got a fear of spider. I now need to have a fear of spider. Oh, they've got a fear of moths. I now need to have a fear of moths. Oh, they've got a fear of having a car crash. I now don't want to get into a car because I've heard something happen about a car, or I've watched it, or I've been involved in it, or whatever it is. There's people who have fears of flying. I giggle at that one because I fly so much that I don't even think about that. But if you have that fear, that's your fear. So I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong with your fear, but just know that every single person has a fear. Now, I'm not saying that when I'm talking about how to get you to drive your fear, using your fear to drive you, I'm not saying pilots have a fear of flying and having an accident, so that's why they actually fly planes. I'm not saying that specifically, but mind you, if you ask a pilot, you can ask and see if that's what it is. But we all have a fear in us. So when we fear something, the key is actually to acknowledge it. Number one is acknowledge it. What is this fear that you have? Now, I'm going to put in our comments, there's Dr. Demartini's put 7 fears, which are amazing fears that you can just go, oh my gosh. And you tell me what ones you relate to. If you relate to all 7, that's totally okay. We all have fears. I'm just going to really emphasize that. We all have fears of some sort. So when we think about this, the key is actually to acknowledge it, label it, put it in a box or on top of the box and go, oh, this is what it is. This is actually a fear. This is why I'm sweating. This is why I'm feeling sick. This is why I feel nausea. This is why I can't move. This is why I can't talk to anybody right now. This is whatever the reason is. This is, we have a fear. The next thing is to not run from it, because you cannot run from a fear or anything. Anything. You can't actually run from anything. You're going to have to deal with it in some point in time in your life. So what I have known is the more we fear something, the more it comes to fruition. So when I think about that, I think, people in relationships and they've been out of a relationship, and I'm going to talk about cheating or dabbling outside the relationship. I prefer to call it dabbling outside the relationship or wandering outside the relationship. So when people have had, they perceive as a negative experience, and all their partners they've had before this particular partner has wandered outside the relationship in intimate ways or mindset ways or physical ways or anything where they've wandered out of their relationship, they are going to most probably, if they haven't resolved it, bring that fear into their new relationship. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at that fear, and I'm going to show you how to move out of that fear and use it to actually drive you, to have that energy, to have that. But if you do not resolve that, you know, I talked about acknowledging it. If you do not resolve that issue of that fear and you bring it into a new relationship, or you bring it into not even an intimate relationship, but you actually bring it into your business relationship, anything, it's going to stay and it's going to bubble away and it's going to manifest and it's going to get bigger. Okay, so we're getting this, we're understanding this. So sometimes when you're in a job, you may be in a job for 10 years and someone leaves and you've been wanting that job. So you apply for that job and then you're going to sit in there and you're going to go, oh my God, what if I don't get this job? What if someone else gets this job? What if someone else comes in more amazing? And all your friends say, no, you've been there 10 years, 20 years. You'll definitely get this job. You've been doing it, you know, for the last year while they've been away on sick leave or whatever. And you start listening to all these other people and then you don't get the job. And so what happens then? You've created a story around that. You've created a story that you can't trust your friends. You've created a story that your friends don't know you. You've created a story that you're not intelligent enough. You've created a story that you're not business savvy enough. You create a story that your self-worth is so low that you've done a year doing this job and then they don't offer it to you. So this is a type of fears, and that story will stick to you. And the more you share that story to others, the more that story will share to others and stick to those who resonate with them. So the key here is to notice that fear, acknowledge that fear, so that then we can move forward with that fear. But you must know what the frick that fear is. Not one person will ever have one fear. There is always lots and 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 lots of fears. So one of the things I fear is, for me, is that I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. Now, we all know that I actually lose my mind anyway, half the time, but I'm actually going to lose my mind. So what do? I constantly use that fear to drive myself to upskill in my knowledge, to learn more about human behavior, to learn more about what goes on in the brain. So I've used that fear to actually build my whole business around me. So the key is to use that fear to drive you, That's what I'm talking about. So what we want to do is we want to look at acknowledging it and don't run from it. Once you've got that, that is a massive thing. I want to go back to what Dr. Demartini said when he said fear is an assumption that you're going to receive more pain than pleasure. So fear doesn't have to be negative. I'm going to repeat that again. Fear doesn't have to be negative. It can actually have a side effect. And do you know what that side effect is? I'm sure you do. You're probably thinking, of course I know what that is. Because the opposite to negative is positive. So there's always a positive to everything negative. There's always a flip side to everything. There's always a negative to everything positive as well. So the key is to look at this, and this keeps you neutral. This keeps you balanced and present with what's going on in the moment. If you can see, there's both sides to every equation. So when you look at a fear and you go, what is that fear? This is how you're going to do it. You're going to go, what is that fear? And you're going to go, if that fear happened, you're going to go right in there. You're going to go in with your boots and all. If that fear happens, how is that going to value my life? How is it going to benefit my life? How is it going to add to my life? How is it going to make my life more fulfilling? So I'm just going back to the dog, little dog Hannah, who's moving around here. At the very start of this, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I actually going to be able to do a Facebook? How am I going to do a video with a dog that's going to keep barking? And I'm like, okay, so I went into strategies. I'm just going to pick her up. That's fine. I'll pick her up. She'll be able to be settled down. But also, I let you know that that's going to happen. So my worst case scenario was she's just going to go crazy and bark. So I've let you know that this is going to happen or could potentially happen. I've now let the attachment go that it's going to happen, and I would easily pick her up and she would calm down. So I've actually looked at that fear and I've gone, how is this going to help me? Okay, I'm going to expose myself. I'm going to say, this is one particular fear I have right now. There's clearly other ones I have. This right now, this is what I'm going to do. So how's it going to help me? She's starting to stir away at the moment because she's been sitting in here for so long. Hey, Hannah. Hello, beautiful. Actually, just going to pick her up. That might be just a little bit easy. You're going to meet little Hannah now. This is little Hannah. This is little Hannah. So how is that fear going to drive you? So worst case scenario, she's going to start barking. Well, she's actually going to lick me now. She looks at me. She's going to start barking. And if she starts barking, it's going to be very loud. So all I've done is I've brought that fear and I've got, how can this fear actually help me? How can this fear help me? Okay, she's clearly going to go straight to sleep. So all you do is you look at that fear and you go, what is that fear? I'm going to lose my mind. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take as much knowledge as I can. I'm going to study as much as I can right now. And with that knowledge, I'm then going to teach and educate others so I can pass that legacy on and have a fulfillment. What else is my fear? Okay, so my fear is I'm going to die. I'm going to pass away young. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do whatever I can right now for the tools I have, and I'm going to make sure I've got my bucket list. I'm going to live life to the best and fullest I can possibly do. So what is your fear, and how are you going to use it to leverage you? So I've built my business around my fear of my mind. Isn't she just adorable? I've built my business purely around that. That is what I've done. So let me know what your fear is and how you're going to leverage from that fear. Hannah's a little bit trapped here. So I would love to know what your fear is and how you're going to move that forward. So if you've got any fear that you are struggling with or a little bit bedazzled with or confused with, let me know what that is. And if you get a little bit stuck, I'm here to help you. So use that fear to drive you. There's always a flip side to every negative, and it's just about doing the work. Just about doing the work and seeing what's best for us. So thank you, everybody. That's me over and out, using fear to drive you. And I'm now going to nourish this little girl before she goes back to her mama tonight. Thank you very much. I will see you next time. If you've got any questions, let me know. Have a fantastic day, people. Bye.